Welcome again. My name is Eno Ekong. I'm a marriage and family counselor, and I am trying to present my book, Marriage Best Practices, to you. And let's look at chapter 3. Chapter 3 talks about perspective in marriage. How do people see marriage? How do the different ways marriage can be seen? What are your perspective about marriage? How you see a thing matters a lot. That's perspective. And how does a cobbler see marriage? A cobbler will liken marriage to a shoe. And when he's likening marriage to a shoe, it's either the shoe fits you, or it's oversized, or it's your size. What do I mean? Either the shoe is bigger than you, tight in on you, or it's your size. So you want to approach marriage. What are your perspective? Will you get someone that is God's purpose for you? It's God's will for you. Or you're going to get someone that is outside of the will and purpose of God for you. Or you're going to get someone that is going to become a thorn in your flesh. Every time you wear a shoe that is tight, I'm sure you know how it feels. The blisters you're going to get. And you're going to be, you have to be contented with those blisters, or you opt for what others opt for. They've divorced, which is not really God's real plan. So why don't you exercise patience and then be able to see marriage from the cobbler's perspective? Get your size so that your leg can fit into the shoe and you are comfortable in it. You are able to do what you need to do, the assignment God has called you to do, because it is comfortable on you. It is what God has proposed for you. It's the will of God for you. There's also the gardener's perspective. The gardener sees marriage from a garden perspective. God conducts the first marriage in a garden. How do you see a garden? A garden should be nurtured. A garden should be weeded. A garden should be taken care of so that it can be fertile enough to bring good fruits in it. A garden should be taken care of so that it can still remain attractive and produce beautiful and good fruits for us to take. So it's important we understand how a gardener sees marriage, and then be able to see marriage. Are you ready to culture? Are you ready to nurture? Are you ready to take care of that marriage as a gardener? We also have the tailor's perspective of marriage. How does a tailor see marriage? A tailor sees marriage as a pair of scissors. What do we mean? A pair of scissors doesn't work alone. They work together. Are you ready to work together with that person that you want to marry? There is no way one sharp edge of the scissors can cut alone. It needs the two. There has to be synergy. It needs the two to be able to get through whatever it's before it as a task. So in your marriage, how do you see the marriage as you're preparing towards it? We also have the 80-20% perspective. How do you see it? What you are looking for outside, you will be shocked that 80% of what you're looking for outside is in your home. So at the core of every healthy marriage is the ability of a couple to successfully communicate with one another. As you begin to have this perspective, you should understand in that communication, you must know your mate. Not only will you know your mate, you must honor and accept the gender differences. There are gender differences. A man is different from a woman. Know your mate. Who is this person I want to get married to? For you to know your mate, you should know yourself first. Knowing yourself first will help you know your mate. Then, of course, know the gender differences. And then also, always speak edifying words. Don't be the type that like cursing and cursing and cursing. Speak edifying words. Speak words that edify, words that uplift the spirit, uplift the person. And of course, practice the art of listening. If you don't listen, how do you want to understand what your partner is saying. You must practice the art of listening. A lot of people listen to respond, listen to reply, but the best way to listen is listen to understand. Listen to understand. So in listening, try to understand the motive behind what the person is trying to pass across. And of course, learn to remain in Christ. Learn to remain in Christ. So while you prepare for marriage, let all this become part of what you undertake. Have this right perspective, and then you see that by the time you step into marriage, you'll be able to enjoy the beauty of the marriage. Remember, marriage can both bring honey and it can sting. Just like the bee produces honey, the bee can sting. So either you enjoy the honey or you endure the stinging. But I pray that yours will be the enjoyment of the honey that is produced by what you put in place for that marriage to work. So marriage best practices will help you as you prepare for your marriage, you get married, and of course you raise your children in your marriage. Thank you for listening. I hope we'll be able to look at other chapters as we continue in the review of the book.